In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Nahvalur Nautilus Verdigris Muse fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This is the Nahvalur Nautilus Verdigris Muse fountain pen, and this is my first ever Nahvalur that I've experienced. This was very kindly sent to me by Neil of the Wasted Paper Fountain Pen YouTube channel. Go check him out. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Does a lot of great pen content. Now, this is an interesting brand. I believe it used to be called Narwhal. I don't really love the name Nahvalur. I don't know. It's weird for me to say it, but not my favorite name. But this is part of Endless Pen's Hatch program, which allows, I think, designers and artists, content creators to collaborate on products that are released through this Endless Hatch program. So this is one of them. The person that did this, I believe they go by Art Ni JP, and the name Verdigris is like oxidized copper or bronze or brass. That's what this sort of color is supposed to look like. Interestingly, on the product page, which I'll put a link to that also in the description, they say that this pen is resin, but it's made by a company called SEM Ebonite, and this really looks like ebonite and it smells like ebonite. So if this is resin, something weird's going on, but I'm pretty sure this is ebonite. Now, let's talk about the pen. It's $180. It's a piston filler, and Nahvalur makes their own nibs in-house. There's also something kind of weird about the Nahvalur brand. They kind of hint that these pens are made in California. And on the Endless website, they have a page that really makes it sound like they're made in California, but they don't say that anywhere, like in the product packaging, on the pen. So I don't know if that's right. So I don't know really where these are made, but they really do kind of hint that they're made in the USA. If they are, I would really love to see their facility. If you guys know where these pens are made, please let me know in the comment section. But it's just a little weird that they kind of imply they're made in California, but then they don't like explicitly say that. I don't know. It's kind of strange. I'll put a link to that Endless page, which sort of makes it sound like they're made in California. But anyway, getting off topic here. Back to the pen. So the design, it's basically a straight cylinder. There is no taper at all. And then the ends kind of just are rounded off. Visually, I don't know, something's weird about this pen. Like, I don't know, is the piston knob at the back here kind of makes it look bulbous? I don't really understand why I think this pen looks weird. I'm having trouble putting it into words, but there's something, I don't know. I think if it tapered, it would look better, but there's sort of like something that just somehow feels bulbous down here, even though this is actually straight. But anyway, I'll shut up about that now. One cool design detail is the clip. This does appear to be made out of, a solid piece of metal. It doesn't seem to be stamped. It's very similar to the Lamy Persona clip. The feel of it, like it is spring-loaded. I don't know. Something about it's not very confidence inspiring. Like it doesn't come back down in a way that feels solid. Kind of hard to describe it, but it's not stamped metal from what I can tell. The finish on the trim here is, I think, okay. There's like a little dot here, which just, indicates maybe not the perfect plating job, but otherwise, I don't really have any issues with the trim. of this pen. It's neat. We have this 3 porthole design here, which works as the ink window, which I think is very cool. In terms of uncapping this pen, about 1.5 turns. We have a nice little step down to the threading here, and then we have a good sized grip section which flares out right at the end. Quite a comfortable pen. Their nibs are made in-house. Nice, narwhal design there, or Nahvalur, I'm gonna just keep saying narwhal design. This is a broad steel nib, but it writes kind of like a medium plastic feed. Piston mechanism is very smooth. There's no play in the knob back here. Everything about this pen feels like it's pretty good quality. The threading feels nice. It's very cool. I like that they make all this stuff in-house, and if they make it in the USA, like it's sort of implied, that's really, really cool. This pen goes for $180, which I think, for an ebonite body, if it is actually ebonite, I'm pretty sure it is, with a piston filler, in-house nib, that's really not a bad price. It's not a cheap pen, but all that is pretty impressive. I could see that if you like the design of the pen, that price I think is not bad. Now, let's do some measurements. About 152. This is not a pen that will post, obviously, because it is that straight cylinder. There's no taper there, so you can't post it. About 134, 135. And the grip section, going right before the threads there, looking at 11 millimeters, and then right before it flares out, looking at 10.3. So 0.7 millimeter taper there. It's a good sized grip section. It does have some nice weight to this pen. This doesn't feel, I wouldn't say it feels heavy, but it's not light like a typical resin pen. So 32 grams, or 33 grams rather. And then uncapped, which is how you're going to be using it, is 22 grams. So very comfortable weight, has a nice solid feel to it. Overall, I think, yeah, I like this pen a good amount. I do not necessarily love the design, but the build and the fit and finish, and if it is really made in the USA, $180 really not bad. So let's do some size comparisons. Here it is with a Aurora Africa. Here it is with a 149. And interestingly, it is a little bit longer than a 149. It's not as fat, but it's longer. Here it is with a Lamy Safari. Definitely bigger than that. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Tomoe River hardcover notebook. These notebooks are excellent for fountain pens, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. Okay, this is the Nahvalur Nautilus Verdigris Muse, and this is a broad, and it's Hiroshi Zuku Yamabudo. Try fast writing. Can't tell if that skip was me. I think that was me lifting. Well, yeah. The performance of this nib is really good. And, Nautilus, or not Nautilus, Nahvalur makes their own nibs in-house. I have no idea where their house is, but these are pretty nice nibs. I wouldn't say that they have a ton of character. I also think that for a broad, this is more like a medium. It's definitely on the finer side. In terms of flexibility, you can get a bit of line variation out of this nib, which is interesting. It's not a soft nib, it's not like a bouncy nib, but you can get some line variation, which I think is nice. In terms of reverse writing, it's not particularly scratchy, which is good. And you do have a bit of a difference in the line width there, so I think that's quite good. Overall, I'm happy with the performance of this nib. I really like that they make their nibs in-house. I can't say, that it's necessarily a spectacular nib over a Yovo or a Bach, but it's a nice nib, no performance issues. So what are my pros and cons for the Nahvalur Nautilus Verdigris Muse fountain pen? Well, I think that the price of this pen is pretty reasonable. You're getting what I believe to be an ebonite body with a piston filling system and an in-house made nib. That's pretty good for $180. I think it's a unique design. And, the piston filling system, the threading, the nib itself all feel really nice. It feels like a pretty good quality pen. Yeah, so there's, I think, a lot to like there. It's comfortable, it writes well, the performance is good. In terms of cons, the design, I don't know. Something about it just isn't quite right with me. There's just something... It's very weird for that I keep mentioning this, but there's something almost bulbous about it, even though it is a straight cylinder. It's weird. I don't know. There's something's just slightly off for me. The pen does not post, so if you like to post pens, this isn't going to be an option for you. The nib is definitely on the finer side. I don't have any issues with performance. You can get a little bit of line variation out of this, which I think is nice. Other cons, I don't know. I guess there's maybe some question about where this pen is made. It doesn't feel like it's as straightforward as this is made in California, because they would be saying that, but they also hint that it's made in California. So I don't really like this like weird ambiguity that's going on there, but that's a pretty small gripe. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.